Good afternoon. On behalf of Southern Oregon Climate Action Now, welcome to our 2020 interview series with candidates from the Oregon House, Senate, and County Commissioner. My name is Bill Gorham, and I will be your moderator for this interview. As a tax-exempt 501c3 nonprofit organization, SOCAN cannot endorse candidates, but we can offer constituents information on where candidates stand on issues related to our mission. The focus of these interviews is therefore limited to questions about climate and the environment. All candidates for the general election have been invited to participate in these interviews. Some have accepted and others have declined. Today, we will be speaking with Ms. Kat Stone, a candidate for Senate District 1. Thank you, Ms. Stone, for joining us for this session. The format is simple. We will have 2 minutes for candidate introductions, followed by 9 questions, each read by me. The candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question and then 2 minutes for closing remarks. To ensure a fair and balanced interview, all candidates receive the questions 7 days in advance and will be posed exactly the same questions. Also, to ensure fairness, there will be no follow-up questions. Ms. Kat Stone, candidate for Senate District 1, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Bill. It's nice to be here.
Great. Now, Ms. Stone, you can start your introductory remarks.
I am a 65-year-old registered nurse who has not a political bone in her body until about 5 years ago, when I was suddenly awakened to the thought that my government may not have my best interests in mind. I've spent the last 6 years following the Douglas County Commissioners, and that came about because I started attending Parks Advisory Board meetings after they logged our community park without any warning, and it had 500-year-old trees. So we couldn't understand how that could happen without the citizens being notified. And I started attending Parks Advisory Board meetings, and we understood that they didn't want to hear anything we had to say. So following the Board of Commissioners, then I got involved with the Curry County Board of Commissioners through the Rural Organizing Project. And I used to work as a nurse, a visiting nurse in Coos, Curry, and Douglas County. So I have been in people's homes, and I know what the situation is for people that live here, job-wise and health-wise. So when it came time to, Dallas is going to be senator, and I can't figure out what he's actually done. So I have a plan, and I know what needs to be done. So here I am.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Stone. Now let me go to the questions. The first question, the increasing droughts we have been facing have resulted in frequent and substantial water shortages. Please explain what you think state government and agencies should do to address the increasingly difficult problems of water availability and water rights.
Well, we definitely are encountering climate change severely here, water shortages, due to the amount of plantations that we've created. The Douglas fir plantations, the trees can't shut off their siphon for the first 80 years. And when we cut on a 20-year or 40-year rotation, all we have is giant tampons out there sucking up the water, and they lose the water. They don't release it back into the streams. And so we have a 50% reduction in our stream flows, our low flow stream flows. And we really need to encourage private industry to keep the trees in the ground a longer period of time. And I think that the state legislature can pass laws that would encourage them to do that.
Okay. All right, thank you. Question number 2. Offshore wind has the potential to provide both substantial energy and economic development to southwestern Oregon. What will you do to support the quick, responsible development of offshore wind?
whatever it takes. It's really been shown to be more productive than nuclear. And I think that if it was done right, it is worth whatever it costs us. And that is the big drawback to offshore wind, is the cost of creating the farms. But I think that if our federal government is encouraged to put that kind of money into supporting Oregon offshore wind, that's the best thing they can do.
Okay. Question number 3. Oregon's wildlife management plan has included removal of wolves from the state endangered species list and a proposal to allow bear hunting along the wild and scenic Rogue River. Do you think it is important to conserve Oregon's bears, endangered wolves, and other wildlife species at risk? Please explain why and identify where this ranks on your priority list.
I attend the Douglas County Predator Control District meetings because I really want to know what they're up to. I understand how the Fish and Wildlife works. I have testified at the wolf hearings over in, I think it was Klamath Falls, the last one that I attended, but I do watch very carefully what happens here. I feel that the timber industry has damaged our wildlife. When you spray herbicides, pesticides, rodenticides, and insecticides on clear cut, you're cutting out every bit of food that is there for every creature. When you kill the rodents, there's nothing for coyotes or wolves or owls to eat, and they kill every rodent. They destroy the landscape. So it's really high. I have written letters and testified, and I really want to see our wildlife succeed.
Okay. Question number 4. Given that some segments of Oregon's population suffer more extensively than most from adverse climate impacts and toxic pollution, how should we invest in correcting health and other social inequities as part of our response to climate change?
Well, I'm a big supporter of Medicare for all in whatever form that takes. There are multiple different forms for Medicare for all, but the poorest people need equal health care, even better health care if you go that far. If the rich want to pay for their own private insurance, let them. But the poor people who are exposed to carcinogens and the stuff that they deposit from aerial spraying, and I have a plan to get us to have mental health paid for again, and public safety, fire departments. Southwestern Oregon has been robbed of its bounty since the 90s, and we need to get that straightened out.
Okay. Question number 5. How do you think the state should promote and invest in clean jobs and a green economy as part of our efforts to reboot the economy following the COVID-19 crisis?
Well, that's a hard one because they're really pushing to open really fast. So we don't have a chance to say, no, we're not going to go back to the old way. And we need better ways. I would really like to see a green economy here. And I think that the proposal put forth by Kate Brown is a good starting place, but I don't think that we should let off the biggest polluters. And I'm not even sure that I agree with the carbon bank. Allowing polluters to continue to pollute is a kind of a problem for me.
Okay. Question number 6. Given the consensus among climate scientists that global warming is a reality and human activity is largely responsible, how do you think what do you think are Oregon's top 3 or 4 priorities to address the climate crisis?
Control clear cutting, control private timber, um, and find a way to replace our gas guzzling, fossil fuel, exhaust emitting cars with zero emission vehicles.
Okay. Question number 7. Do you support Governor Brown's Executive Order 20-04 establishing an Oregon Climate Action Plan? What elements of the executive order do you think should be strengthened and how?
I approve of the plan. I don't have any suggestions for that. I'm at a loss. I actually kind of feel we're past the tipping point, and I don't know how we can do things fast enough to keep us from going over the side. I think that we've been too, we haven't been conservative enough. We haven't taken it seriously enough. And I'm really worried that taking the climate change plan, the Green New Deal, through less than revolutionary change is not going to get us where we need to go.
Question number 8. Oregon has been identified as being in the epicenter of ocean acidification and anoxic dead zones in shallow water, affecting both fish and shellfish, and thereby threatening our fishing industry. Both ocean acidification and dead zones are directly a result of elevated carbon dioxide levels in the oceans from human burning of fossil fuels. What will you do to reverse this trend in ocean degradation to help save the fishing and other ocean-dependent industries here in southwestern Oregon?
Well, what's worse about ocean acidification is that it is 50 to 70 years of problem that is coming here that's landing on our shores right now. What's getting here was created maybe 70 years ago. And how do we fix that without going over our timeline? I see the issue with ocean acidification as very grim, and they've been studying it for a very short period of time, not even 20 years, and I don't think that the scientists really have a grip on it. It's something that we should be kicking into higher gear. And I feel like the runoff from aerial spraying is contributing to these problems. Our sea life is very, very, very endangered. And if it's going to take 70 years to turn that around, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Okay. The final question. Methane is a greenhouse gas 86 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Given the inevitable emissions of methane that would result from the proposed Pembina Jordan Cove LNG export facility and pipeline, please explain where you stand on the project and why you reached that conclusion.
I am 100% against the pipeline. I have been 100% against the pipeline from the day I first sat down and talked to people about what was going on. And it would be one of the biggest emitters of poison into the community. It's a big danger. I don't believe in taking away land from Americans to ship a gas that comes from Canada that we're going to transport to overseas. It will not reduce our cost of natural gas if we still want to use it. It isn't even going to be made available here. And I've seen just the replacement of a simple local neighborhood gas line, and none of the people that are involved in the replacement of that line are local people. So I don't believe in the local jobs. So I don't believe in LNG, no LNG.
Okay. All right. And now, Ms. Stone, you may take up to 2 minutes for closing remarks.
Okay, I have been following for about the last 4 years a group that has been around about 30 years, and that is the Coast Range Association. And I would encourage everyone to get on to the webpage for the Coast Range Association and call up the creator there, Chuck Willer. I've been working with 4 different economists for the last 4 years to figure out how we can restore bounty to southwestern Oregon. And John Talberth, Roy Keane, Ernie Nemi, and Chuck Willer all have great ideas for getting us back to communities. Your community has to come first because global isn't working for southwestern Oregon. Shipping our logs overseas and the pollution that is created here, the carbon that is released when clear cut happens, we have to fix that. And logging is always going to be a part of southwestern Oregon, but we can't keep the practices the way that we have, and we can't listen to greenwash, and we need to really be active. And that's why I want to go up to Salem and bring a voice of the history of how we got where we are, and to reinstate the harvest severance tax. California has a severance tax of 3%. Idaho has a severance tax of 3.5%. Washington has a harvest tax of 5%. And until 1990, Oregon had a harvest tax of 6.1%. And all that money came back to the communities where the logs were harvested. So that is my plan.
All right. This concludes our interview with Ms. Kat Stone, candidate for Senate District 1. Thank you very much, Ms. Stone, for joining us, and to you for viewing, and to Carmen Prophet for driving the technology that made this possible.